I'm Madeline.
And I'm Mace. And welcome back to another edition of Swamp Talk.
On today's show, we follow to find info for school events, interviewing counselors for Suicide Prevention Month, 9/11 Remembrance, and the football game.
But first, Gators, if you have a class in the Media Center, the door is now locked at all times. Someone in there will have to buzz you in. Please be patient as staff get used to this new routine.
Homecoming is Saturday, September 21st, and this year's theme is Cloud 9. Tickets are $45 and will be on sale starting today until Thursday, September 19th.
You can find tickets on RICOR and during all lunches on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Now we go to Isabel and Peyton for finding information around the school.
Hey Gators, me and Peyton are here to show you where information can be found around the school. Let's start with the bulletin boards. There's 2 bulletin boards in the science hallway. This one behind me,
And this one right here.
a bulletin board outside the blue wing,
And there's a bulletin board inside the gold wing. At the college and career lab, there's a bulletin board right next to the school. There's 3 bulletin boards next to the office and the office bathrooms.
this is 1, 2, and 3. And you can look up for the information above the laboratory doors. Any current or upcoming events going on in school are always posted on the school website.
Thanks Isabel and Payne for that important info. Remember, September is Suicide Prevention Month. Nye and Casey interviewed our school counselors for more on the facts.
Good afternoon, Gators. September is National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. And as your school counselors here at Land O'Lakes High School, we understand that this issue impacts children and adults across the United States and the world.
In the United States, death by suicide is the second leading cause of death for people between the ages of 10 and 24. According to the National Alliance on Mental Illness, 20% of high school students have had serious thoughts of suicide, and 9% have reported a suicide attempt. These numbers may surprise you, and that is why we want to make sure you are all supported in every way possible.
We know that this is a difficult thing to talk about, especially for those of us who have already been directly affected or who know someone who has been directly affected by suicide. However, it is very important that we have these conversations so that we are able to support our friends, peers, and family members who are going through tough times.
As you may know, someone who is contemplating suicide does not fit a description. In fact, more often than not, it ends up being someone you would never expect. This is why it is important to not only be aware of the warning signs, but also to encourage teens to build and develop tools that they can turn to if they or someone they know is in crisis.
There are people and resources that you can lean on to help. Community providers such as Baycare and Chrysalis have licensed therapists who work directly with students and families in person and virtually to provide mental health support for those in need. Baycare even has a mobile response team that is available 24/7 for someone who is in crisis and in need of support.
The Tampa Bay Crisis Center, the Suicide Hotline, and the Suicide Text Line are also available for people in crisis. If you or someone you know is in crisis and unable to get into contact with any mental health resources, do not hesitate to call 911.
Over the course of this month, there will be things happening on campus that we invite you all to get involved in. Your student council will be working with the student services team this year to create artwork that will promote suicide prevention awareness.
The student services team, along with student council, will have our annual Wall of Hope signing during lunch for students to come and write thoughtful, positive, and supportive messages on the artwork to help uplift those who may be going through a difficult time.
Remember, life is the most valuable thing you have. We hope that you all know that you have support when things get hard and that you are able to recognize when someone is struggling and can provide support to your friends and school community.
Thanks, guys. Remember, Gators, there's always someone there for you.
Today is 9/11. We go to Talia and Payton for their segment on 9/11 Remembrance.
Hey Gators, today me and Talia went around asking students and teachers what they remember about 9/11. Let's get to it.
What have
have you heard about 9/11?
I've heard that a lot of people died, but a lot of people also got saved by the firefighters before the towers crashed.
What do you remember about 9/11?
9/11 happened when I was in the 8th grade of, middle school. And when it happened the day of, they had, basically everybody got taken out of school. My uncle was actually a banker in Manhattan when it happened, so he had to walk the entire length of Manhattan Island to get away from everything because nothing was running. How did it affect me? Well, I guess like a friend of mine's father died in 9/11, and it was, rough seeing them going through all of the sort of difficulties that they went through afterwards.
How did they memorialize 9/11?
They memorialized 9/11 by putting all the names of the people who died in the tragedy on the fountain where the 9/11 happened.
What do you remember from 9/11?
I think that what I remember most from that day is I was teaching at Gulf High School at the time, and my husband called and told me to turn on the TV because he thought we were under attack. And I do remember that we pretty much just all were attached to the TV for the rest of the day, trying to figure out what the heck was going on. It was incredibly scary to think that your country is under attack. We've never had that happen before.
And how has 9/11 affected your life?
I would say that I don't know if I feel the effects of 9/11 anymore, but at the time after it happened, it was interesting that people were a little bit kinder, a little bit nicer. There was a lot more unity. It was felt. People were not mean and nasty like it seems like we have now. It was definitely people being nicer and kinder to one another, and we felt like we were all Americans at that time.
What have you heard about 9/11?
It was a huge tragedy that affected a lot of people's lives, and we still memorialize it today.
September 11, 2001 is the day to honor and recognize because we lost almost 3,000 lives that day.
Thank you to Leah and Peyton.
This past Friday, we had our varsity football game against Williston.
Sadly, we lost the game 13-21, but Jake and James captured some awesome footage and an interview with Coach Goodspeak.
What's going on, Gators? We're currently at Williston v. Lando, USA game. It's halftime right about now. Currently the score is 14-0. We're going to ask Coach Goodspeed some questions about the game. We were wondering if you had any comments on the so far first half performance.
Well, I mean, Williston's a good team. They have a great ground game, and what we need to do is just come back on offense and help our defense off and, methodically move the football down the field.
What are you going to say to these players in the locker room at this halftime to get them pumped up to come back in that second half?
Well, they got to play. They got to want it more than I do.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Let's go, Gators!
How's it going, Gators? It's Friday. We are at Williston v. Lando. Trying to see what the outcome of the game is. It's still 14-0, 8:57 left in the third.
Sadly, the only score of the night was not caught on camera, with Lando answering with an 8-yard rushing touchdown, following a fumble recovery in the end zone. Then, with 3 minutes left to go in the third, Williston came out with a 20-yard rush to score and make the score 21-7. Hard-fought fourth quarter resulted in the Gators' only passing touchdown, but came just short of the win.
Looks fun. That's all we have for today, Gators. Tune in Friday for another edition of Swamp Talk. Yeah! We did so good! I don't think I said Williston right, but it's okay.
It's okay, bro. Yay!
Back to the anchors.